Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my number one then, The Evil Within on PlayStation 4. Had played a bit last week, have played a good old chunk now. Still a fair old way to go, though. It's quite a long and generous game. But I must say that I'm just absolutely loving it to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in my top 3 games of the year quite comfortably. Yeah, it is honestly everything that I like about games kind of wrapped into one thing, and I kind of always knew it would be. This guy, I've talked about it last week. For some reason, what he brings, Mikami, and obviously his games are very, very popular, so it's not like it's anything hugely unique. But his games have just always just scratched my itch in a way that just very few other games or people have managed to so consistently do. Be it from an aesthetic point of view, from a sort of thematic point of view, or just from a mechanical point of view. This game is kind of all three. It's not a perfect game. It's not an absolute world beater. There are better games out there in terms of, if I was being objective, which is obviously an impossible thing to be, but god damn it, I'd be lying if I'd said that I'm enjoying anything single player wise. I can't think I've enjoyed anything this much this year. The main thing that I absolutely love about the game is you just never know what's coming next. I can't remember a game where you just, around every corner, you just like a new idea, just a completely different vision, almost a completely different piece of level design, just a new kind of throwaway single shot gameplay idea. That's probably been my favourite thing about the game overall, and I just catch myself constantly just go, this is so fucking cool, this is so cool. That's all I keep saying. It's not a scary that's unfair. It's not been scaring me, but I think that the level has been raised too far by PT, that this game, it just doesn't do to me what that game does. It doesn't psychologically traumatize me, but it's extremely tense. Some of the enemy design is truly horrific. But I spoke about it last week, that the horror of it reminds me of the movie Drag Me to Hell, in that it's getting me, but it's making me laugh straight away afterwards, and just kind of enjoying the process. And this is definitely doing that for me. The first time I saw you, it's not a spoiler because this character's in all the screenshots. I think it's in the trailers, and has been seen a lot. There's like this kind of long-haired woman, grudge style, but it's got like six. It kind of moves like a spider, and it's got 6 legs. It's fucking horrific. And the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I don't want to see it. But like with a smile on my face, and then like a bit later, a similar thing happens, and the whole time I was kind of reveling in the horrificness, as opposed to a PT, which is like, I genuinely don't want to be here. I feel unwell, so that's kind of a different thing. I am kind of blown away by the stuff to be said about this game. Like, I'm gonna wait until the game is finished because I'm not 100% sure on my opinions of it, or their ideas. I need to wrap up in my own head, but it feels like a kind of a game about the genre as well. Like I said last week, that it's a brilliant title because it felt there were so many Resident Evil references, and then suddenly I thought about the game's name, and I was like, this is an obvious. This name just means, it's like, okay, the evil within. It's like we've put Resident Evil in this, or, as literal as that sounds. And the more I play, and the really obvious Silent Hill references to the early games, and constant Silent Hill stuff that's in there, and some of the story elements which kind of loosely even discuss the role of the player in it and things like that. It feels like a game about the genre as well, and I'm just really blown away is not even the right word, I don't think. Just completely, genuinely enthralled by it. Enjoying the dark. It has like, it's kind of daft as well. The character that you play as, the stuff that he says, reacting to it, the characters that you're with. The stuff that the main guy says, reacting to the scenarios that you're in, they're daft. It has the B movie thing that Resident Evil always did so well, and it just completely appeals to me. And even like a lot of the game, it plays with your sense of your character's sense of reality and your own sense of reality. Like the levels, things change, and you'll be moving through something, and the whole perspective will change, or it will change to something completely different, and you're in this constant kind of nightmarish dream state, which I've always really liked. But just like some of the boss stuff, I'm interested to talk to you about something specifically, actually, because I know that you mentioned things on a text message, so I'm interested to talk to you about some specific stuff. So I kind of want to hear your point of view. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's going to be one of my games of the year unless it all goes tits up.
Okay, well, I think it gets better as it goes on, so I don't think that will happen. Did you read the Rock Paper Shotgun?
No, I read about the first paragraph, and I was like, this is already reading very similarly to the article I was planning on pitching when I finished this game. So this is upsetting. So I didn't read the rest of it, but yeah, I was good. I was thinking, I'm going to pitch this article, and I read the first paragraph. I was like, you motherfucker! But yeah, it read really well, even just that paragraph.
Yeah, I read the beginning as well, and then I just skimmed a little bit because I think this is a game that I kind of wish I'd played all of before speaking about, because there's a lot to take in, and it's the kind of thing that's going to feel, I don't know, doing it in bits probably doesn't do it justice, but I've done about 12 hours or so, and the first thing I've got to stress, again, it is ugly as sin.
I don't think it is. I really think that's the difference between the two consoles.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I haven't seen the Xbox One version picked apart very much, but I'm sure that the Xbox 360 could run the game that I am playing on Xbox One. I'm sure of it. And you say, and Dave said that the PS4 version is absolutely not like that at all.
I think at times it's a bit bland, but at times it looks striking, almost like a moving painting. The lighting and just the movement, quite stunning at times. The animation's always a bit sketchy, and so is the frame rate, but yeah, I would never at any point say it looked bad.
Right, I mean, it's not so bad when you're in the dark, strangely, but when you're outside in something resembling daylight, it's just washed out. There's no draw distance. I think it's really ugly. It started to put me off playing it. There are problems. When you're outside, the frame rate stutters, and there's this weird motion blur on your characters, which may be intentional, I don't know, but it kind of just looks scrappy to me. As much as I'm enjoying The Evil Within 2, and I think it's idiosyncratic and strange, and when it's successful, it's very successful, there are some very poor sequences in it. There is a very long-winded bit in a basement, which I don't know whether you've done or not.
This is the bit that I wanted to talk to you about, but yeah, I'll jump in a minute.
Involving the 3 valves, right? So you have done it.
I am not joking, and I'm not saying this to be annoying. I think that's one of the best boss battles I've played in years. And I did it second time, and I thought it was like masterful, incredible, in fact. And
boss battle?
Yeah. Well, not like set piece boss sequence.
Where someone's pursuing you, and you have to go to this valve, and then run around and go to that valve, and then go around to another valve.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't class that as a boss battle, but
you're killing them. So
killing who?
The things that are trying to stop you doing the valves.
Boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kill them and they come back to life.
Yeah, but you have to kill them, otherwise they'll just kill you.
Yeah, you can avoid them for the most part. The thing is, the thing that really bothered me about that, I just thought it lacked the focus that so much of, Shinji Mikami makes very focused games. The best of his stuff is very, very focused, and it just felt like a load of problems thrown at you. I did that 9 times before I got past it, I think.
Maybe you should have killed him.
Well, I did kill them. Sometimes you can kill them, but there are other times when it's beneficial to run away. I mean, especially if you're trying to, they start laying traps, don't they? So you can run around and start picking their traps up. If you want to get some sort of build some bolts and stuff like that. But that bit, Shinji Mikami's games aren't really hard in a traditional sense. You can always be one step ahead, and
I really thought I was one step ahead for this whole sequence. You and I completely disagree on the sequence. I think that's the problem, because I came up to it and I'd read your text messages and I was dreading it. I thought, fuck, this is going to be the section that's going to do my head in and it's going to make me not like the game. And I was just all of it. I basically did it first time and then went the wrong way at the end and fucked up. And then second time I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I went the wrong way. So I actually, in many ways, did it first time on the normal difficulty as well. But I was killing them to get enough breathing room to do the valve, and then another one would spawn and you'd have to kill hit. Like, I thought it was so specifically designed to the drops would be the exact point, so you just had enough to do. I just thought it was amazing. So it's just such a funny one.
I don't know. I was killing them, and then like there'd be traps on the floor, and then if you got your foot stuck in a trap, there's an instant death. They'll come over and just chop your head off, and I don't know. It didn't feel structured at all to me. I just felt like I was running around doing these things, and every time if you're a split second killing this thing, and then you have to run to the valve, and and then they spawn right behind you and they lop your head off. I just like this is.
But they always spawn in specific places.
No. Oh well, yeah, in the same room behind you while you're trying to turn the valve. But if you killed one in the next room, then you sprint. I mean, otherwise you have to sprint. You have to wait around, wait for him to kill him, and then it didn't feel like I didn't feel directed. It felt like just a load of problems thrown into an arena. Go figure it out.
It's so weird though. It's so weird that how our experiences were just so different in that section.
Yeah, I was furious. Yeah, I just felt like I always feel that stealth or survival horror games should never feel like they have a license to waste your time, and I just felt like doing the same thing over and over again, not fucking up. You'd end up just inadvertently in a corner through no fault of your own. But anyway, that was a low point for me. But in addition, there are too many instances later on where you walk into a room and bang, you're dead, go back. I don't think that will ever be justifiable in a video game or enhance anyone's involvement or appreciation of a game. It's just a trope that needs to go in the bin. Learning by dying, I will never warm to it. I'll never think it's particularly... I'll never like anything about it. And what actually, when the Evil Within is at its best, what it does is prove that you don't need the threat of constant death to feel threatened. I have felt most on edge when I wasn't really worried about dying constantly, and that's the big strength of it. Death doesn't add anything except frustration. So the bits where you're kind of careering through it, I felt those were more tense. I think the sort of spectre of having to do something again isn't fear, it's just frustration. And I think the game at its best doesn't rely on those. But despite all of those problems, when it's working, it's really bracing. There's some amazing imagery in it and there's been some fantastic shocks as well. And the overall sense of dread is completely stifling so much of the time. This is not for everyone. It can be pure stress for long periods of time. I think that, and I also love how genuinely, truly dreamlike some of it is. There's this stunning bit which I won't spoil because I'm sure you haven't got to it, where you're trying to fulfill these tasks, and every few minutes this wailing begins, the lights dim, and suddenly you're being relentlessly pursued by something, and then it stops, and then you carry on. It's just, and it keeps repeating. I've had so many dreams like that where you're trying to perform mundane tasks and you have to work to some bizarre routine of something you don't understand. And there is a classic boss battle. There is a boss battle later on, I know you haven't got to it yet, where it's superior to anything in Resident Evil 4 in terms of the design of it, the visuals, the atmosphere, and just as a big pyrotechnic. It's a huge set piece and just so good. And that's I did a little bit after that, but that's more or less where I left it.
I'm assuming this is chapter 10 you're talking about. So I think I'm one chapter behind you on where we are. Is that right?
I think I just started chapter 11. So I think that's at the end of chapter 10.
Because that's crazy. Because I've been reading on forums and loads of people saying that was the worst part of the game. So
why?
I don't know what it is. I know nothing. This is the other point I've been dreading. This chapter 10 boss. But now.
Wow.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, maybe you'll think it's rubbish as well. I just thought that was absolutely...
I've thought nothing's rubbish. So I'd be amazed if I do. Even the bits that I thought at the beginning were rubbish, I realised that I was just playing it. I didn't really understand what the game was, but yeah.
It's there are a few additional tiny niggles that I have. The sniper rifle was a real pain to use because the default zoom is stupidly extreme. So trying to find I suppose that's probably it's almost certainly a choice, but. It makes it kind of a pain to use, and I don't think the way that you change to sort of craft different crossbow bolts is particularly intuitive either.
No, it's not. I've done it wrong about 1,000 times.
Yeah, me too. You just like use those bits, and you're just like, fuck, I didn't. Yeah. So there are quite a few things to dislike, I think, but so much more to recommend. I still recommend it at this point because when it works, it really does work brilliantly. And as a horror game, and this is something that I felt the longer it went on. And I'm not somebody who thought Resident Evil 4 was a particularly successful horror game. This is light years ahead in terms of the sort of sense of mood and foreboding it creates and whatnot. But I like it. It has frustrated me more than once.
Yeah, I love it. It's just like this delicious throwback to those games that I was just obsessed over at my early 20s. And so, from 18 to 20 to 23 or something like that, 10, 12 years ago when I really started to get into what video games could be, as opposed to just enjoying playing them. And it's just, it feels like an amazing throwback to that, but with some modern ideas as well. And it's a game for me, and I'm loving it. Hopefully, at no point will it disappoint me. But yeah, I love that bit. What can you say? It's weird. That's great.